good evening, everybody. My name is Carolyn from MediaMind. Thank you so much for coming this evening. We really appreciate you taking the time out to join us. If you would like to tweet this evening, we encourage you to please do so. Good or bad, we'll take anything you'll give us, to #Ignite. So obviously we're all in the advertising business here. What we considered was kind of the epicenter of technology a few years ago was something you will know as the sync ad. This is a Windows 7 sync ad, excellent execution, quite difficult to get up at the time. What we're looking at now as a business is syncing devices. So we're really trying to see how we can create that unified consumer experience through every device that a person uses throughout their day. Why we feel we at MediaMind are well positioned to do this is we look at trying to see how TV and online can form a marriage. Over the last year, through acquisitions and mergers, we've brought what we believe to be the top rich media businesses through iWonder, iBlaster, and Unicast, as well as the top television distribution channel through DG, together to form a unified business. So that's what we're looking at over the coming months and years as to how to create this dual environment, this synced environment, and bringing the marriage of TV and online together. I'd like to introduce Ted Drecke, who is from our innovation team from EMEA, and he's going to run you through our journey as a business and how we see ourselves getting there in the next few years. Tej?
Hi guys, thank you very much. So I'm Tej Drecke, I'm the innovation strategist at MediaMind, and my role in the company is to basically look at industry trends, new ideas, new technologies, and combine them somehow together and make them a reality. Today I want to talk to you guys about the next generation of creativity. Basically, as we start moving out from what we've seen from traditional banners online into the next wave of taking rich media forward. So, brilliance begins here. I'm going to focus on 5 key areas, starting with our traditional rich media component. We're going to look and see how that's moving out to various formats and how these formats are moving into various publisher networks. We're going to deep dive into video, as video will be massive this year. Publishers themselves anticipate video to be the highest revenue generator. We're going to look at the opportunities of mobile. Mobile now means more HTML5. We're going to see what that means to us as a company, but more importantly to you guys from a creative perspective. And finally, we're going to combine all these elements together and take them to the next level with what we call dual screen. And that is when you're watching your primary screen, your television, and how that interfaces with your companion devices, such as your smartphone, your tablet, your PC in the home environment. So let's kick off. Rich media. It's what you guys know us for. It's what we've been doing well for the last 10 years. I want to start off by showing you the power and impact rich media still has. Let's take a look at this particular example here, where we've got this random leech character appearing on the screen. Now, with the lovely sound effects, you somehow want to grab it, you want to move it around, you want to elongate it, and as soon as you see this jar appearing, you want to capture it. So what's just happened? I've seen this leech and I've captured it. The whole point of this campaign that ran in Spain was to launch this new website called Atrapantes. Well, it's maybe pronounced the longest Spanish word, I think, in a dictionary. And what it basically means is a word in the play trap. It's basically, don't feel trapped. That's the message they're trying to push out. And the idea was, every time you capture one of these characters, they contain a unique code. And you take that unique code through to the website to see for the Europeans if they can win a trip to Australia, maybe to Brazil for a Euro. The whole idea was about brand awareness for this new travel website that was a competitor to Expedia. The idea was, don't feel trapped like this leech, set yourself free, come to our website and we'll give you cheap travel. The actual campaign did amazing. We had over 1.1 million track busters. Guys, 80,000 people registered in the first 2 weeks. But what was more interesting was 100 people blogged and contacted the advertiser directly and said, we want to run your campaign for free. So initially, they started in 6 placements. Now it ran in 106 placements for the price of 6. But you know how competitions are. 99% of the time, you're never going to win. And so what they thought about it is, if you go to the site and you're unsuccessful, we're going to tell you the other 105 sites that you can go on and get this code. So it became like an online treasure hunt, and it went truly viral. Have a look at the click-through rate, 28.5%. Have a look and see where the dot is. You tell me if we get click-throughs that high anymore. In fact, I'll tell you one thing, last time we saw click-through that high was in 1994 when the first banner ad came out. So it's all about taking the consumer on this journey, right? Connecting with them. And according to eMarketer, they say 4 times the creative impact is driven through that messaging, that story, that connection with the consumer, that thing that helps us remember is to do with the creative story. So we can use the rich media angle to tell that story, to connect to our audience, create that emotional engagement, and create that point of remembrance. See, there's a lot of talk right now in the industry about does size matter? Well, you can think long and hard about that question. But if you're honest, we've seen so many statistics about small ads working well, big ads working well. The truth of the matter is, it's not about one or the other. It's about location, location, location. And for us, what location means is understanding how the publisher page works. How do ads complement that site? How do they work in that environment? If you look at this particular example here, it's a simple 7 to 8 by 90 ad. It's dynamic, it's at the top, it works with the page. So as a consumer, I'm coming along and just simply looking at an Audi ad. But it's giving me information that I might want to know, that might attract me. You know, it's telling me the car insurance rate. You see, it's not always about these big advertising, sometimes it's about relative content to attract the consumer through their journey, to create that connection. But we all know screens are getting bigger, resolution is increasing, and how can we capitalize this space? In this particular example here, what I love about it at the beginning, it's not too intrusive. It's not in your face. You know, you've got a subtle approach where for Specsavers, you've got these glasses floating around the screen. You know, once you get the consumers right, you get their respect, and they choose to engage, you can then take them into a deeper experience. And in this particular example here, we're using the glider format. And what we love about this particular format is it opens up the complete canvas of the page. So once you click and you go deeper, you get that space to manipulate and bring content in. You see, what we're finding more and more with these type of contents, it's about bringing content to a consumer, not making them click through. And actually, you're 25% more likely to touch and play with an ad than you are to click through. It's all about bringing that content to a consumer because you can't expect them to go and find it because they won't. You've got greater chance of taking a consumer on this purchasing funnel if you bring content to them. And a great example is this particular one here where we're using an interactive product catalog. We're bringing it to life with custom shot video using models. So here we're using hotspots to bring this catalog to life. It's for women and their clothing. They can see how the clothing looks. So in this particular instance here, now she's showing off her trench coat. You can see how it looks. You know, you can deep dive into the content and see, right, okay, it's 69. This is one of my particular favorite, definitely one more for the lads. I think we all know what she's selling. You know, is it her hair? Is it her dress? Is it her lovely legs? It's got me emotionally connected. You know, I could click through, but next time I'm out shopping, I could think about it, because now I've actually got that emotional connection. I can remember the brand and ironically buy it for my wife, thinking about other things. Now, we looked at studies from around the world, and what we realized is that 1 in 14 consumers engage with the ad for 43 seconds. That's incredible. Compare that to TV, where 50% of the media budget is spent, and they can't even tell I'm in the room during a commercial break. In fact, if you've ever noticed during a commercial break, the volume of an ad goes up to get your attention. But with online, we're seeing consumers taking their own time out to explore that brand and connect with that brand. And video is playing a huge part in this. You know, you can manipulate video, you can change it on the fly. So we looked at a study here and we thought, okay, rich media and rich media with video. What are the differences? And what we found out in both instances is site visits are up. In fact, they're up by 6 times when you include video and rich media. But what's more interesting is direct response is up by 9 times. Consumers are 9 times more likely to respond to an ad if it contains video. So guys, it's all about taking that consumer on that journey, telling them the right message, using the right location. But going forward, it's also about using the right formats. If you think about it, formats, for us, is working closely with publishers. It's often here the great ideas tend to fall down. You know, I was a creative guy, and I used to come out, we all been in that situation, we were brainstorming, coming up with ideas, to only find out the publisher specs don't allow us to do anything. You know, but the publishers themselves actually want the best creativity in their network. There seems over time to be a breakdown in communication. And as you know, last year we acquired Unicast, we acquired iWonder, and now we can offer a much greater service-based offering here at MediaMind. So we're able now to launch our global publisher solutions team. What does that exactly mean? Well, that means we have this team now that can work closely with publishers. They can see what's working in the creativity, make sure there's no bottleneck, and make sure the ads are trafficked on time. But more importantly, they can look at the data with the publishers, see what's working, what's not working, and how can we assure maximum consumer retention within that network. But it's also about working with the IAB. If you think about it, how did the IAB come around in the first place? Well, it came about when the industry was at a free-for-all. People coming up with their own shapes, their own sizes, their own colors, and doing whatever they wanted. And for scalability reasons, the IAB said, right, we're going to create 5 formats. We can create your MPU, your skyscraper, your leaderboard, and these became the bread and butter of our design work. But just very recently, as you guys are fully aware, the IAB did a so-called stock check and said, are these formats truly scalable in our changing industry? And the answer was no. These previous formats were designed to make the consumer click through, not bring content to a consumer, and they were not working with the big space of our screens anymore. So they did this Rising Star format project, which came up with the portrait, the billboard, the sidekick, the pushdown, the film strip, and the slider. I'm going to take you a few of my favorites, not every single one, and show you what the difference is now. Starting off with the portrait. The MPU simply wasn't big enough. So they times it by 3 and made it 1,000 pixels long. And there's been this trend in the industry that people say, I don't want to scroll down the page. Consumers don't want to scroll down at all. But the fact of the matter is we scroll down every day without an issue on our phones, on our tablets, and yet it's perfectly fine. And with these formats, you can see it's bringing so much more content into the ad. You can have your video, you can have your Twitter feeds. And another format that I personally like is the film strip, for those consumers who don't want to scroll. It's above the fold. It's got 3 to 5 different slide sections, so to speak, and it remembers how you interacted previously. So if I was on section 3, next time it will take me to section 4 because it remembers my interaction. And it's again bringing a lot of content to the consumer. One of my favorites, high impact, at the bottom, graphic celebrity sex tape for the slider format. Gets everyone's attention. Take a look at the video.
I know it. Sex tapes are fun to watch. But let me tell you, they're even more fun to make. And with just a little spray of this, you'll have no problem finding a co-star or 2. So, put down the lotion and pick up a camera. Happy filmmaking.
Lights, camera, action. I'll tell you something funny about this actually. We ran this in Europe and we realized that the male audience between 16 and 24 had a higher dwell rate. They actually played with the ad for longer. It's a true statistic, it came out. I'll let your imaginations run wild on what they did. But I just looked around the audience and you can see how compelling video is. It gets our attention and we love to be entertained. So I mentioned at the beginning, the power of video. Video is massive. 50% of all marketers, that's half of advertising as a whole, is being shifted to be video focused. Video is pouring into our industries. We're taking that TV commercial and we're reformatting them for the web. If you break it down and look at the video by revenue by channel, what you're seeing is, yes, in-page video is still a huge portion with 59%, but in-stream is quickly catching up. There's a lot more activity taking place with in-stream, with the VPaid and VAR solutions going forward, because publishers anticipate video to be the highest revenue generator. So not only as an industry, but as a company, we're very much focused on in-stream. Why? Because video advertising continues to attract new ad spending from brands because it generates greater audience retention than other digital ad formats. In simple terms, we love to be entertained by video. Let me show you this great example.
Imagine this oscillating fan as your computer password, and David Hasselhoff is a cyber criminal. David Hasselhoff does not like your oscillating fan. Oscillating fans muss hair. No one musses the Hoff's hair. The oscillating fan, not knowing any better, continues to gently oscillate and fan. Now you have a choice. Do you allow Hasselhoff to have his way with your eye?
Oh, a pretzel. Ooh.
Protect your oscillating fan from David Hasselhoff. Deny digital dangers with Norton Internet Security 20.
We're honestly not sure if he's sober in that video or not. But what we're actually seeing now is we're seeing production value online akin to what we're used to seeing on TV. Them celebrities are now coming online. They're having that custom shot video being created. The quality is improving because clients and advertisers know the power of online video, and the engagement is going up. Another great example, just to show you the power of in-stream.
Clear skies. It's gonna be a dandy of a day. I like your style, rookie weatherman, man. Thanks, dryer lint that causes house fires, man. Hey, you guys almost done with your tickle fest? Click the same mayhem a few times to get his full story. Me? I don't have much to say, really. Why don't you click on the guy under me in that awesome hat? I'm the lost cat. I'm your kid in the backseat who won't stop talking. I'm walking on the road at night, and I look like a motorcycle with his light on my. Let's play a game. I bet I can ask 100 questions before we make it to Grandma's. 1. Dad, when I grow up, will my neck be hairy like yours? Seriously, stop clicking me. Keep that mouse away from me. I see you. Thinking about clicking me? Don't think about clicking me.
Okay, for the sake of time, I'm going to go on. But it can go on. There's so many more combinations you can put together and make a story. So we looked at the statistics of in-stream, and we compared it to in-page video. And what we realized is the click-through rate is up by 200 times. Looks impressive, right? It's totally not. All right, you think about it, standard video is at 0.09, and it's gone up to 1.74. So it's just gone from there to there. Not a lot, but why I'm showing it is because the next statistic is 73% of consumers watch the entire content the whole way through. It just shows you brand awareness. You know, consumers find longer in-stream ads more effective. It's quite ironic because a couple of years ago, people assumed you take a TV commercial and you have to downsize it for the web. But the opposite seems to be true. Not only do consumers want bigger advertising, they want longer advertising. So we're sitting on this video revolution. Video is going everywhere. And here at MediaMind, we've partnered up with a company called Impossible Software to look at dynamic video insertion. And what I mean by that is being able to change content within video on the fly. And I'm not talking about swapping video at the back end or having a flash layer to manipulate it on the fly. I'm actually talking about one video and changing content within it. And this is how we do it.
Selected areas in a video can be converted to dynamic display ads. A printed pattern on a shirt provides 3D data for ad integration. After automatic removal of the pattern, ads can be dynamically composed into the footage, creating a new, realistic-looking video. For existing footage, ad areas can be individually defined at suitable positions with maximum visibility. The automatically tracked areas will then be filled with advertisements, dynamically chosen for this specific content. An additional advantage is to use the prepared content with any number of advertising partners.
He's bringing dynamic product placement to a whole new meaning. And that's very important when we start looking at now at mobile. Finally, the shift of mobile is happening. You know, over the last year, between Q3 and Q4, we saw double the amount of mobile advertising being served. They reckon 5% of all ads being served online now are mobile ads. And one thing we're noticing is these traditional web campaigns are now, in certain publisher environments, having a 40% serving on mobile devices. These campaigns weren't booked as mobile campaigns, but the organic shift of a user simply picking up their mobile, looking at their browser, is bringing a whole new experience to them. And I get asked this question a lot. Is 2012 the year of the mobile? Well, I was in Spain in 2008 at an IAB conference, and that was the year of the mobile. Apparently 2009 was the year of the mobile. Every single year is the year of the mobile. The truth of the matter is we've missed the year of the mobile. And people ask me, why has it taken so long for our industry to pick up mobile? Well, there was a constant battle, if you think about it, between Flash and HTML5 at the beginning. Which language would be adopted? And then Apple, as they do, always come in and butt in. And they said, right, we're no longer going to support Flash on our iOS devices. And Adobe themselves then reviewed their product, and they decided last year that they're going to remove Flash from mobile. So overnight, HTML5 became the adopted language. And now we're seeing that spike occur in the industry because now people have adopted the language. And the power of HTML5 is so effective. You know, you can instantly see how smooth it is. Right? There's no plugin, there's nothing to download. It natively works with the browser. It's smooth, there is no mouse. Your finger is the mouse, so you have that other sense now of interaction. But you can just see how tactile it is. You know, it's so smooth. You can go full screen. Very simply, it works well with the browser. We looked at a study here at MediaMind, and we realized mobile works better in the evening, as you would reckon. You're going home from work, you use your mobile. You're going to a bar with your friends. You're more likely to pull out your mobile than you are your laptop. And when you're at home, you're watching TV, without probably knowing, you're on your mobile device. You know, it's a default mechanism now. We're always, when we're watching our TVs, we're on our mobile phones. Hold on to that thought. I'll come back to it later. But the power of HTML5 is also working within content. Right? In this particular example here, every time I refresh the page, it hides 3 clues. 3 random clues. It could hide them within the image or within the text. The whole idea was to launch this new detective TV show called White Collar. So you have to become a detective yourself and find the clues. The reason why this campaign won a plethora of awards was because it could take a consumer on a journey that matched the TV show. If you want to watch a detective show, become a detective yourself. And it works so seamlessly throughout the page's content. You know, I show this statistic a lot. Apple trumps Android. And developers always ask me that's wrong. There's more Android devices out there than there are Apple. There are actually more Android OSs than there are Apple. That's true. But if you think about it from a development perspective, you are more likely build for Apple first than you are for Android. And the reason being is Android is so fragmented. You put 5 Android phones together and they're probably running 5 different software versions. You know, it's so hard to develop for and it's so hard to debug for. So with advertising, you're going to more likely build for iOS in the next 2 years until the fragmentation reduces in Android. And as you would presume, the IAB is also working on mobile. This is a format that we developed for the mobile device. It's called the Ad Adapter. It's a play on the word ad and app. And it simply looks like an app. Deliberately so, because we know consumers know how apps work. It's intuitive, it's very simple to use. You know, a child can pick it up and realize if I press photo, a photo is going to appear. The reason why we won an award for this creative and for this format is because we're not taking and porting over online formats and hoping for the best in this new environment. We're actually building from the ground up. It's a complete different real estate. It's a complete different device. And you actually get more clicks now on your mobile than you do on a standard banner on a PC. You've probably got fat fingers and you can't help but press it. But the fact of the matter is you're actually getting more of an increase on your mobile device. But we're repurposing formats now with HTML5. You know, it's not about, like I mentioned, chucking them over and hoping for the best. I showed you the film strip earlier. We've built it 3 times now. One for the PC, we've now got it for the tablet, and we now got it for the phone. All are built differently. There's different variations, and they're all working smoothly. But the mobile is more than just a device. And actually, in Australia, you actually guys pioneered the connection of screens talking to one another. The mobile has a camera, it has GPS location, it has accelerometer. And this particular example here for Yelevator, you know, I'm using my mobile as a gaming device, as I would with my Nintendo DS or my PSP. And I can play with a consumer who's right next to me or the other side of the world. You see, we're seeing more and more in our industry devices talking to one another. And that brings me on to the final section, which is dual screen. It's the most hyped about topic in our industry right now. It's basically on-air advertising is now suddenly colliding with online. People talk about IPTV, you know, connected TV to be the next revelation, but the reality is this. We change our phones every 12 to 24 months. We change our laptops every 3 to 4 years. But we change our TV every 7 to 10 years. So the adoption of IPTV is still going to take a while. The best way to interact on TV is to interact with TV with your smart devices. And in fact, a lot of us are doing it without actually even knowing we're doing it. 42% of us, I've actually seen a case study of 70%, are actually using our smartphone and tablets while we're watching TV. And what are we doing while we're watching the TV? Well, majority of us are still checking emails. I reckon taking work home. A lot of us are looking at social network sites. But at the bottom here, 19% of us are looking at content related to an ad. You tell me how many of your campaigns get a 19% click-through rate. You don't see it, but yet there's a spike in this environment. We did a case study with Yahoo last year, and we realized 25% of consumers go online after seeing a TV ad. And that number is only going up. And it's all about something called automatic content recognition. Remember it, guys. It's going to be the most talked about thing in the next 5 years. It's about how does a device, your companion device, automatically recognize what's being played on your TV. So you guys familiar, just recently, we had the Super Bowl in America, a bunch of guys wearing makeup, thinking they're tough. And normally, the Super Bowl is all about the halftime show, right? Let's be honest. It's about a celebrity who's going to show inappropriate bits at certain times. In this case, I don't think Madonna did it, but we never know. But this year, if you looked at the press around it, Madonna didn't make the headlines. A technology company did. A company called Shazam actually stole the show. And do you know why? Because they created a clickable banner like you did in 1994 when the first commercial break occurred. So you could listen to the phone, to your TV, and you can get a standard banner. Great idea. We love the idea, but there's something about the technology. If you think about it, how long is an average TV commercial? 30 seconds. Now imagine you recognize a TV commercial halfway through, and you start shazamming the commercial. Think about it. Let's see how long it takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The room's got to be completely quiet. 8, 9, 10. Now, if I did that during a commercial break, next time I look up, the ad's going to disappear. It's going to be gone. So, we love the idea, but we want to do something about that technology. So over the last year, we looked at a certain amount of technologies, and one of them is fingerprinting. Now, if you think about it, every piece of content has a hidden file. On TV, we use clapperboards that tell us who the TV show is, who the director is, who's in that scene. It's like a TV reference number for TV. Online, we simply call that metadata. It's what our search engines use behind closed doors to look for content. And these are now becoming high-frequency sounds that we sample that humans can't hear. In fact, guys, the technology is quite old. It's used in cinema technology as we speak. If you think about it, if you go to a theater, you're going to a cinema, you've got the projector at the back, and it throws out the movie. It's actually fingerprinting the content on the fly. Meaning, if I went to the cinema tomorrow, and I got my camcorder, and I recorded the film, I went home and I converted it into a DVD. When I sell it, the anti-piracy agency can play that content back, look at the high-frequency sounds, and realize, well, this was shot in Sydney. It was actually shot on this time and this day. Here's a CCTV footage. Here's the credit card details, and they could find me. You see, we're using it now to sample TV commercial ads. And actually, the frequencies sound something like this. No, not really. No, not really, but it normally scares the shit out of people. Okay, but another way is audio watermarking, right? It's a constant stream of signals and content throughout that TV ad. And we could think of it as multiple cue pointing. As the content is changing, the companion ad is changing at the same time. This is perfect for playback content. What I just showed you with fingerprinting is perfect for live broadcasting. When we record content at home, what do? We go back home and we forward our commercial breaks, and we get straight to our content. So, with the power of DG, we can have content into our servers before they're broadcasted out to the TV networks. And we can watermark that content. Meaning, if you're watching Desperate Housewives and you see that Chanel bag, it will instantly pop onto your phone if you're in that right environment at the right time. And how do we do that? Well, in advance, we metadata, we watermark the content from the DG server level. So in this particular instance here, within 36 seconds of this TV program, I want the Ford Mustang Shelby ad to appear. And on my phone, it turns up. But other technologies are out there to do the same thing, but they're not using watermarking or visual recognition. They're actually focusing on visual more than audio. But audio is the correct way to go. Here's an example of how visual content works. So in this particular example here, it's targeted the male and female audience differently. And you take your phone and you use it as an expandable banner. So as a male, I'll get one complete different experience to my wife. It worked very well. But the problem here is, who's actually going to get up and do it on a regular basis? So last year, in the UK, a company called Channel 4, a large broadcaster, came up to us and said, we want to talk to you about our show called The £1 Million Drop. Right? If you guys are not familiar with the show, it's basically when a couple of contestants come online and have to answer the questions correctly. So as you do when you're at home, what's the first thing you do? You're shouting at that screen. That's the wrong answer. Move the money there, you moron. You got it wrong. And Channel 4 realized it's a big home community that does that. So they built an online game to match. So as the contestants and the host answer new questions, the online game will change. So they wanted to say to us, now here's the problem. There's a big community at home, and as a TV commercial appears, the game online simply pauses, and we've lost that community. We've lost the 100,000 people. So can you guys come up with a technology that helps us do this? We looked at that client-side solution, which is Shazam. And irrespective of what solution we use, here at DG, what we do is we take that TV ad and we digitize it. And that means we have that content before the broadcaster plays it out. And we can fingerprint that content. And that's exactly what we do, and we store it in our fingerprinting database. Then we send that commercial out to all the TV networks. And it gets played out onto your TV. Now you can come along with a client-side solution and listen in to the ad. As you're listening, it's the same Shazam solution. It pings our servers and says, is there a match? If there is, then we'll send it to our MediaMind servers and ping the content to you. Guys, that process takes over 10 seconds, like I mentioned. So we reevaluated that, and we said, right, instead of the client listening, why don't the servers listen? That's exactly what we did. We can listen to over 1,700 channels on the fly simultaneously at one time. So now, the servers are listening to the broadcasting stream, and it pings our servers, and it sends out straight to your phone in under 1 second. So you can see there's a big difference occurring. And I work in the innovation lab. So we have to come up with new ideas and new concepts. And I want to show you what we're working on right now. So just imagine it's a live TV show and you're watching the commercial break. But I'm going to skip to that because there's one more section here I want to talk about first. And that is, how successful was this campaign? You can see the content works very quickly. We had over 115,000 people watch the content. Guys, 17.4% watched the entire video the whole way through, and that was the extended 3-minute version. The click-through rate was 2.34%, higher than online. So as I said just a minute ago, let's watch a TV show and see what happens.
Guards picked up $1 million in cash from a secret vault. It was transported under maximum security to our protected safe, where the entire million will be handed over.
So just imagine this is a live TV broadcast stream.
Hang on to it through the most heart-pounding game ever imagined. I'm Kevin Pollak, and this is the $1 Million Money Prize.
You're gonna love it. So as you can see in real time, you can play along the game. I've played this game about 1,000 times. I think I know the answer inside out. But you can move your money around and you can manipulate it and play with it. And that's what the community at home do. And the whole power of this is during the commercial breaks. Put the volume up slightly of the commercials. So here to start off with, we've got an Xbox commercial. It instantly gets pushed to your companion devices. It knows what you're watching and it recognizes it if you're in a certain environment. You can go to full screen and see the content appearing. That was quite in your face, it's there. But there's another way to do it as well, which is a more subtle approach appearing at the bottom. So the next commercial break you can see here is for the Lexus. It appears at the bottom, not in your face. But here we're seeing the commercial, the car is in white. How we want more information about that car? Show us picture galleries. How about we want to see it in different colors? Or how does it look in black? Show us a tour of the car. How about I use a GPS location on my device and tells me the local dealership is so I can go for that test drive? See, it's happening, guys. It's a reality. It's happening right now as we speak. Another sexy commercial here. This lovely lady is actually telling guys to buy flowers for their ladies. So, while we're watching this commercial, we can buy flowers for our ladies. And we can look for it in real time. We can go through a selection of what we like. It's great, works every time. So, if you think about it, the content is getting pushed to the consumer. And in this commercial break here, the poor dog is giving the guys a beer. You know, we'd love to be in that situation if it actually was true. Why don't we make it a game and we give the guys a beer? So, okay, I'm really crap at this, but you know, if you're actually quite good, it would actually give you a coupon and tell you it's 10% down the road, you can get the beer at a lower price. It's targeting, it's pushing to you. And when the content goes back now to the TV game, it will go back to the game. Also, in our next iteration, we will have the related tab working, meaning if you've missed that TV commercial, you can go back and look at the experience. So this is exactly what we're working on in our labs, and we're pushing out on a case-by-case basis. And it's happening now. You know, we're in a great position to do this, because we're in a great position to see the marriage of TV and online come together with DG and MediaMind. And for us, it's about engagement everywhere. And what I mean by that is connecting with consumers in this ever-changing landscape that we're in on any device they're on. Thank you very much, guys. I'm now going to pass you over to Scott, who's going to talk about the new amazing workshop.